To Asia.
This is Tokyo, once a city of 6 million people. What has happened here was caused by a force which, up until a few days ago, was entirely beyond the scope of man's imagination. Tokyo, a smoldering memorial to the unknown. An unknown which at this very moment still prevails and could at any time lash out with its terrible destruction anywhere else in the world. There were once many people here who could have told of what they saw. Now there are only a few. My name is Steve Martin. I'm a foreign correspondent for United World News. I was headed for an assignment in Cairo when I stopped off in Tokyo for a social call. But it turned out to be a visit to the living hell of another world. Emergency hospitals were overflowing with the maimed and the dead. For the living, the horror of last night was over. The only thought left was the paralyzing fear that it could happen again today or tomorrow.
Back to Asia.
After last night, I'm lucky to be alive.
I guess we're all living on borrowed time. Oh, Steve, what brought this upon us?
I don't know, Emiko. I don't know. reading. The rest of the time I was sleeping.
Oh, I see.
I understand you've questioned everyone on my flight. What is it you're trying to find out? I represent United World News.
I don't know, Mr. Martin. I don't know whether it should be printed or not.
I don't follow you.
You see, we don't know what it is we're dealing with. At 3:30 this morning, a ship from Tokyo was literally wiped from the surface of the ocean in a matter of seconds.
Anything from the ship's radio?
It said there was a blinding flash of light, and the ocean burst into flame.
Could have been a mine or a collision.
But why would the radio man not report a mine or a collision?
That's a good point.
This is the chart room of the Nankai Steamship Company. It was their ship which was sunk.
Are you telling me what they're discussing?
We're at a loss to explain how their ship could disappear so suddenly.
Any survivors?
No, not yet.
That's it, operator. Mr. George Lawrence, United World News, Chicago, USA. Japanese ship disasters puzzle world. 8 ships obliterated by mysterious blinding flash of fire. No survivors found. Radio reports from stricken ships gave the same message. That's right. Terrible sea of fire engulfed all. Staggering death toll forces all shipping schedules be canceled. Will remain Tokyo unless word from you. Signed, Steve Martin. You got it, thanks. Called together. Dr. Yamane, Japan's leading paleontologist, was among the top scientists invited to the meeting. I had met Dr. Yamane through my friend Sarazawa several years ago. If there was to be an answer to these mysterious ship disasters, it would come from these men. Afraid my Japanese is a little rusty. Dr. Yamane is suggesting to the officials that they question the natives of the small island. He says that Odo Island is close to the area where the disasters have taken place. Odo Island, a bleak spot of land in the Pacific, populated with several hundred natives who were now half paralyzed with fear.
Did you hear that? Godzilla.
They believe their Godzilla is responsible for all these ship disasters.
They're certain of it.
I wasn't just sure what it was. No one was sure. No one except the natives. And they were positive. They said it was Godzilla. The next morning, the officials brought some of the islanders back to Tokyo to make a direct report. Each of the natives of Odo Island told his own story of the sudden turbulence and had his own ideas of its cause. They were all of the opinion that the destruction was brought about by a living creature.
I have not been to the island myself, but the world today is filled with many mysteries. In the Himalayas, footprints of snowmen have been found. No one knows anything about them. So if there's no one who can explain the phenomenon at the top of the world, is it not possible that some other unexplainable phenomenon might exist at the bottom of the ocean? A research party should be organized to make a scientific survey of Odo Island. Intermediary animal, a cross between the land-living and the sea-living animal. Let us call this creature Godzilla, according to the legend of Odo Island. And judging from this photograph, this creature is over 400 feet tall. Of course, the question we are asking ourselves is how this animal happened to reappear after all these centuries and so near to the coast of Japan. One answer could be that some rare phenomenon of nature allowed this breed of the Jurassic age to reproduce itself. And for a long span of time, he had no reason to reappear to the world. But now that analysis of radioactivity of the creature's footprint shows the existence of strontium-90, a product of the H-bomb, it is my belief that Godzilla was resurrected due to the repeated experiments of H-bombs.
The damage had been severe, but fortunately confined to the dock section of the city. Godzilla was still in Tokyo Bay, and there was every reason to believe he would return, unless some means was found to stop him. George, here in Tokyo, time has been turned back 2 million years. This is my report as it happened. A prehistoric monster the Japanese call Godzilla has just walked out of Tokyo Bay. He's as tall as a 30-story building. Now he's making his way toward the city's main line of defense. 300,000 volts of electricity strung around the city as a barrier. A barrier against Godzilla.
Who do you think did it? Gideon?
Possibly.
Or Tex?
Possibly.
Can I have one of those?
One of what?
I think Tex did it.
Oh.
Vanille chocolat, s'il vous plaît.
Why do you think Tex did it?
Because I really suspect Gideon, and it's always the person you don't suspect. What's so illogical about that?
Well, you just said that it's always the one you don't suspect. But you suspect Gideon, so therefore it must be Tex. But on the other hand, if you suspect Tex, it must be the other fellow, Gideon.
A man drowned in his bed? Impossible. And in his pajamas? The second one in his pajamas? C'est trop stupid. Stop lying to me. This nose tells me when you are lying. It is never mistaken. Not in 23 years. This nose will make me commissaire of police. Mr. Dial or Mr. Joshua. Which is it?
Dial.
And yet you registered in Megère as Mr. Joshua. Didn't you know it was against the law to register under an assumed name?
No, I didn't.
It's done in America all the time.
You gonna listen?
Go on.
All right. Now, when I was a young man, my father expected me to go into his business. Umbrella frames, that's what he made. Well, a sensible business, I suppose, but I didn't have the sense in those days to be sensible.
I suppose all this is leading somewhere.
Well, it led me away from umbrella frames for one thing. But that left me without any honest means of support.
What do you mean?
Well, in this highly competitive world, when a man has no profession, there isn't much choice. Sort of captures the spirit of the thing.
I don't believe it.
I can't really blame you now.
But I do believe it. That's what I don't believe. So it's goodbye, Alexander Dial, and welcome home, Peter Joshua.
Sorry, the name's Adam Camfield.
Adam Canfield?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Do you realize you've had 3 names in the past 2 days? I don't even know who I'm talking to anymore.
No, man's the same, even if the name isn't.
pajamas? C'est ridicule. What is it, some new American fad? And now your friend who lives here, the one from Texas, he's disappeared into thin air. Where is he?
I wish I knew.
Madame? Tell me, Mr. Dial, where were you at 3:30 a.m.?
In my room, asleep.
And you, Mrs. Lampert?
I was too.
In Mr. Dial's room.
No, in my room.
Obviously, you're telling the truth. Tell me, Mr. Dial, where were you at 3:30 a.m.?
You see, we don't know what it is we're dealing with. At 3:30 this morning, a ship from Tokyo was literally wiped from the surface of the ocean in a matter of seconds.
Anything from the ship's radio?
It said there was a blinding flash of light, and the ocean burst into flame.
Could have been a mine or a collision.
But why would the radio men not report a mine or a collision?
That's a good point.
And now your friend who lives here, the one from Texas, he's disappeared into thin air. Where is he?
I wish I knew.
3 of them, all in their pajamas? C'est ridicule. What is it, some new American fad? And now your friend who lives here, the one from Texas, he's disappeared into thin air. Where is he?
I wish I knew.
I've sinned. I've offended the God. I'm deep in sin, my Lord.
Let me judge of that.
I doubted the ceremony of the sacrifice.
If I spoke about it, if I did, what would I tell you? I wonder. Would I tell you about the time? It happened a long time ago, it seems. In the last days of a fair prince's reign. Last days of a fair prince's reign. What would I tell you about the place? A small city near the coast, but far from everything else. About her, the princess without voice. Or perhaps I would just warn you about the truth of these facts. Tale of love and loss, and the monster who tried to destroy it all.
Next time you come to bring the rent, I want you to stay and see the Bible movie, huh? I have 2 free tickets here. You bring your neighbor Charles. He's a good boy. Bible movie and comedy. Nobody's coming to the theater, huh? I get throwing up free popcorn and soda.
Moment of your time. Today we are receiving a new team and asset here in T4. This is Dr. Robert Hofstetler from our sister facility in Galveston. Now, I don't want to bolster or overstate the matter, but this may very well be the most sensitive asset ever to be housed in this facility. Moment of your time. Today we are receiving a new team and asset here in T4. This is Dr. Robert Hofstetler from our sister facility in Galveston.
What does that D stand for?
Delilah, sir. On the count of the battle.
Delilah. She betrayed Samson. Lulled him to sleep. Cut his hair. Philistines tortured, humiliated. We didn't get to like each other much. Now, you may think that thing looks human. Stands on 2 legs, right? But we're created in the Lord's image. You don't think that's what the Lord looks like, do you?
I wouldn't know, sir, what the Lord looks like.
Well, human, Zelda, he looks like a human, like me. Or even you. Maybe a little more like me, I guess. Worship it like a god.
Doesn't look like much of a god now, does it?
Well, they were primitive, sir. You know, they would toss offerings into the water, flowers, fruit.